Come on. Where is that? Where is it? It's got to be in here somewhere. Come on. Where's it at? Oh, wait a minute. Wait. There it is. Now I'm ready. Let's go. What's happening, everybody? It's yours truly, Golden Blue Dude. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. What I do, videos every single day, sometimes college football and sometimes college basketball. And the best way to support this channel and get more of my content is hit the subscribe button. Every year before each season, we try to figure out which group of 5 teams could be the best out of that group, who could come out of nowhere, and who might fall into oblivion. The first 2 teams I want to talk about is BYU and Boise State. I think both of these teams are definitely going to take a step backwards for 2 different reasons. For Boise State, they're going to have to break in a new head coach, and I think it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment year. Now, for BYU, they're just going to lose a lot of talent. So both of those 2 teams, I think, will take a major step backwards. Here are the 5 teams to keep an eye out in the 2021 season. And the only reason I'm not talking about Cincinnati is they're already going to be in the top 10. They are going to be good. We know that. The first team I want to talk about is San Jose State. Last year they finished 7-1 and won the Mountain West. They beat Boise State in the Mountain West championship game. The biggest problem for San Jose State is the uncertainty with their roster turnover. They don't know if some of their seniors are going to come back for their extra year or if they're going to forgo that and try to go to the NFL. The 2 big names are running back Tyler Nevins. He had 66 carries for 515 yards, 7.8 yards a carry, and 5 touchdowns. That would be a big hit. Also, wide receiver Derek Deese, 41 receptions for 725 yards and 4 touchdowns. Another big hit. They already know that wide receiver Trey Walker will be gone. They do get quarterback Nick Starkel back. He was 163 for 254, that's 64.2%, 2,174 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. It's just, will he have any weapons around him? They'll have running back Kerry Robinson, but he only averaged 3.8 yards a carry. Wide receivers Jermaine Braddock, 11 receptions, and wide receiver Isaiah Hamilton, 13 receptions. That's not a lot of production. And the hybrid wide receiver running back Isaiah Holiness, but he only had 10 receptions and 19 carries, so that would be a big blow if they lost those 2 players. Their defense actually could be their strong suit next year, especially with defensive ends Cade Hall and Viliami Fehoko. Not a horrible schedule, but they do have to travel to USC. They get Southern Utah, at USC, that's the tough one, at Western Michigan, New Mexico State, at Colorado State, at Hawaii, at Nevada, another tough game, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State, Wyoming, and at UNLV. So, not a daunting schedule. Maybe that will, keep them from falling off a cliff. Next up, Coastal Carolina, and head coach Jamie Chadwell definitely has this team going in the right direction. The only thing is they do lose running back CJ Marble. He's going to be gone, and defensive end Tyron Jackson. That's a big hit. They do get quarterback Grayson McCall back. He was 172 for 250, 68.8%, 2,488 yards, 26 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. So that's a big help. They also have wide receiver Javian Healy, 65 receptions for 998 yards, 10 touchdowns. Tight end Isaiah Likely, 30 receptions for 601 yards, 5 touchdowns. And they do have 2 backup running backs that are pretty decent. Reese White, he averaged 5.4 yards a carry, and Shamari Jones, who averaged 4.7 yards a carry. So it's not a total fallout. And of course, most of that defense will be back, and they just allowed 20.3 points per game last year. That's pretty good. Their schedule, not all that bad. The Citadel, Kansas, at Buffalo, that's a tough game. UMass at Appalachian State. I think App State will be good again. Troy, Georgia State, UL Monroe, Texas State, at Georgia Southern, at Arkansas State, and at South Alabama. So they avoid Louisiana. So the schedule might keep Coastal Carolina in the title hunt for the Sun Belt. Next up, Louisiana. They also have a great coach in Bill Napier. The big thing for Louisiana is they get quarterback Levi Lewis. That is awesome. He's a great player. Dual threat. 177 for 297. That's 59.6%. That could be better. Threw for 2,274 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He also rushed the ball 55 times for 335 yards, 6.1 yards a carry, so he's a great dual threat. They do lose Trey Regist and Elijah Mitchell, so that will hurt on offense. But they do have running back Chris Smith to fill in, and he averaged 5.6 yards a carry, so that's not bad at all. The entire offensive line will be back, so the running game should be pretty much the same. And what Louisiana likes to do is they like to spread the ball around, so there's not one go-to receiver. They have wide receiver Gossett, Rogers, Williams, LeBlanc, Larry, Fleming, Bell, and a transfer from TCU, and all of those had double digits in receiving last year, so they spread the ball quite a bit. They were the runner-up in the Sun Belt last year, 10-1, and their schedule is a little tough, but not unmanageable. They start the season at Texas, but I think Texas is going to take a step back. They just fired Tom Herman. I think that was a bad move. And they lose quarterback Sam Ehlinger. Then they get Nichols, Ohio, at Liberty. That's going to be a tough one. At Georgia Southern, tough game. At Troy, at Arkansas State, UL Monroe, Texas State, Georgia State, and they get Appalachian State at home. So I think the schedule allows Louisiana to definitely contend for the Sun Belt, and they have enough talent coming back. Personally, I think Louisiana should be the favorite to win the Sun Belt in 2021. Next up, Liberty. And yes, I think Liberty will have another good season, but their schedule will be challenging. They also get their starting quarterback Malik Willis back. He was 170 for 265, 64.2%, could be a smidge better. 2,260 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He's also a dual threat quarterback, 141 carries for 944 yards, 6.7 yards a carry. The O-line will be great again, led by offensive tackle Tristan Schultz. Most of that great defense will be back. They only allowed 20.5 points per game. They still have a lot of playmakers coming back. Wide receiver DJ Stubbs, 38 receptions for 523 yards. CJ Daniels, 11 receptions for 220. Noah Frith, he has big play capabilities. And wide receiver C.J. Yarborough, 17 receptions for 260 yards. You also have a nice running back stable. Running back Troy Henderson, 32 carries, 4.4 yards a carry. Running back Shindro Lewis, 61 carries for 7 yards a carry. Running back Peyton Pickett, 91 carries, 5.7 yards a carry. And Joshua Mack, 5.7 yards a carry. This team can run the ball. And then they throw a little bit of passing in there, have a great quarterback. Yes, I think Liberty is going to have another great season. Here's their schedule. Campbell, at Troy, Old Dominion, at Syracuse. They already did it last year. At UAB, Middle Tennessee, at UL Monroe, at North Texas, UMass, at Ole Miss. That will be their toughest game of the year. Then they get Louisiana at home and Army at home. So those 3 games right there will be their make or break season. If they can at least go 2-1 there, I think Liberty has another 10-win season. The last team we need to keep an eye on as far as big potential in the 2021 season, Nevada. Last year they were 7-2. They finished 3rd in the Mountain West. They do get quarterback Carson Strong back. He was 249 for 355. That's 70.1%. He's a good quarterback. Threw for 2,858 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. They also get some big playmakers back. Wide receiver Romeo Dubes, 58 receptions, 1,002 yards in the shortened season. That's good. Wide receiver Elijah Cooks, 76 receptions for 926 yards. That was 2019. He didn't play that much last year, but if he's back at full strength, he's going to be a definite playmaker. Tight end Cole Turner, 49 receptions for 605 yards and 9 touchdowns. And, of course, their running back, Tua, 114 carries for 675 yards, 5.9 yards a carry. That is a great offense. And they return a stingy defense that only allowed 23.3 points per game. Their schedule is really favorable. At Cal. Cal is not going to be that good. I know Cal's a Power 5, but get the Power 5 thing out of your head. They're not that good. Idaho State. Then their toughest game at Kansas State, but that's not a make-or-break game. New Mexico State at Boise State. Like I said, Boise State taking a big step backwards. At Colorado State, at Fresno State, Hawaii, San Jose State at home, UNLV at San Diego State. So I fully expect Nevada to have a 10-win season, and I have Nevada as the Mountain West favorite to win the title. I think Nevada will win the Mountain West Championship, and we'll see how high they can finish to see if they can get a New Year's Six bowl. So those are the 5 teams, besides Cincinnati, we already know they're top 10, they're going to be good, that I think we need to keep an eye on going into the 2021 football season in the group of 5. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.